Hi, everyone.
I'm Tracey.
I'm Carol.
And we are my
Outlander
Purgatory. How is everyone this evening? Oh my god, you guys. I gotta just tell you that it's our normal Thursday night taping night, but it is 10:06 p.m.
Oh my god, it's my fault. I'm sorry. There's just no doing anything fast in this house.
If you thought last week was punchy and that we were manic AF, I don't even know what you're going to get this week because it's going to be pretty crazy.
I can't wait.
Carol,
I can't remember the last time I was looking this forward to an Outlander recap video. I've been holding it all in since last night.
Carol and I really have not discussed it. Like one or two little mentions here and there in a text. Are you watching it now? Like, what are you looking at?
I'm turning it on, yes. Because then I can follow along with you because you go sequence and I'm always out of sequence and you yell at me for squirrel. So I pull it up and that way I can go, okay, right. Mm-hmm.
What are you drinking this evening?
Same old, you guys. I opened this for tonight. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Well, wait. Is it Santa Margaret? Is Cavett just like gone with the wind? Like life is too short for Cavett.
I don't want to say negative things about Cavett because I love it. It tastes so good. It just hits your lips. I really enjoy it, but I started getting headaches. I'm like that though. It's me. It's not you, Cavett. It's me. It's not you. One of my favorite drinks on the planet is Stoli vodka, Stoli 7 with a splash of cranberry and a lime. Got to have the lime. I drank that for years, and I love it. It's so good. But all of a sudden, I started getting headaches, and that was it. And I couldn't have it anymore. And now I just look at the Stoli bottle, and I love Stoli, you guys.
Maybe you should try it again.
It's me. It's not the alcohol. It's me. It's like something. It's like I hit my quotient. Like I just can't. That's it. I've hit the quota and I can't have any more. So that started happening to me with Cavett. It didn't. That was the thing I loved about Cavett was that it was much less expensive. It was good tasting wine, and I didn't really get headaches. But now I get them when I'm still having it. So dear God, if that ever happened with my Santa Margarita, I don't know what I would do.
I am drinking Chateau Saint Michelle Chardonnay, Indian Wells.
That's one of my favorites.
It's really good. It's really good. Like it's very.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a special like reserve, but it's really oaky, and you know how I love a good oaky Chardonnay.
Oh, you do. And when I used to work for the company that I used to work for, our senior VP of sales was like total wine guy, and they all used to go to Napa every year. They used to take clients and stuff. And so a lot of the guys in sales were huge wine guys, and that brand was one that they approved of. I remember that was the big, that was one of the ones that they were like, this is, because I was like, what should I be drinking? And they were like, well, this is really good. Remember when I used to drink nothing but Rosemount Shiraz?
No.
Oh God, I would drink, that was like my Santa Margarita. I might go back to that. Oh, every once in a while, you ever get to do that, you guys? Like you haven't had something that you used to drink a lot. You guys are probably like, hi, you two drink more than anyone. But like, let's say a cupcake or something, like something you haven't, and then you have it years later and you're like, why did I stop?
Why did I stop? Carol, can you tell we're delaying talking about this episode?
I'm not going to be nice. All right, let's get this going.
Oh my God.
Let's
sorry,
get
guys.
it going.
This was not one of my favorite episodes in the world of Outlander. You know, I'm gonna say it didn't suck. You know, it was not like the one from season 2 with Leary hanging out the wash is hands down the worst episode of Outlander so far in 4 seasons. Not this one. This one was just like kind of dull.
Well, I got to be honest with you. This is what, oh God, how am I going to say this? This is what I was concerned was going to be the case with Outlander season 4. Because Drums of Autumn, everybody who quits Outlander, I can't quit you.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
I know how to quit you. Anybody who quits Outlander,
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Quits during drums. Everybody, at least all of my friends who quit, and not a lot of them did, but the ones who did stopped reading during drums. And most of them watched the show, went right back to the show. But I thought that was it. When you're reading the books, it's because it's just not this like overwhelming Jamie and Claire-ness anymore. It opens it up. We've discussed this. It opens it up. And Diana Gabaldon will say she wrote 1, 2, and 3, and then she wrote 4 and 5, Drums and Fiery Cross, as almost one big story that she split in half.
Right.
Lord, the Gathering. And so some people will stop during drums. And I was afraid, oh God, how in the world are they going to make season 4 interesting? And by God, I'm enjoying season 4, I think almost more than I've enjoyed any season so far. It's just fantastic TV. And also, like I said, I forget, once we hit drums, I wasn't quite so, oh my God. And so I'm loving all the stuff that I've either forgotten or that they've changed. I like the changes because it's new and fresh. And so I thought the entire season was going to be, I didn't think it, I worried that it was going to be like this episode. So I'm okay to have one episode so far that was kind of eh.
Right. I mean, the first couple of the season were kind of eh too, I would say. It built up a little bit. There's one thing in this episode that I really hated, and it's so funny because... Speaking of Bree, I wore my Slapback Commissioner. Can you see it?
Yes.
I wore my Slapback Commissioner t-shirt in her honor. This is a sneak preview, you guys, by the way, of hoodie season because I worked at home today. And you're lucky you have freshly washed hair and made up face.
I had a hoodie on before I called you, and I took one look at I looked like a vampire, and I ran upstairs to my daughter's room and said, do you have something I can wear? And you guys, she wore this to school. I totally picked it up off the floor and put it right on.
We'll both start looking. Actually, hoodie season starts, you guys, actually the day after the season finale of Outlander. So I actually will not be on screen in full hoodie until next season, or whenever we're doing our next videos, whatever. Because we'll do them in off season.
I, on the other hand, will be on screen in a hoodie next week.
No, Bree, I mean, I have stuff to say about Bree, but there's one thing, but what I want to say is, so yes, there is something that I really did not like this week. There was something I didn't like last week, and I will just say it was the whole, oh my God, I'm totally blanking on what it is. Oh my God, I'm totally blanking on what it is. This is how late it is. Do you remember what it was that I went off on forever? Oh, I know. When Jamie and Bree were talking about, when Bree was like, what did you, like, what was it like when Black Jack raped you or whatever? And in our video, I went off on, like, I really hated that. I felt like, and I understand now, I felt like Bree shouldn't say that. Not that I felt that Bree wouldn't say that, but that Tracey, was mad at the character of Bree for saying that. I've, like, worked this all out now.
This ain't your business, girl.
But anyway, after I watched it, I went to the book and I read after where that happens, and nothing about that. Nothing about, or after where they talk about where Jamie does that, like, it wasn't your fault, you couldn't have fought him off, da-da-da. Jamie, at the end of that chapter, like, thinks a lot about Blackjack and works stuff out in his head, whatever. But, so I'm, like, going off in this video, going off. And I realized, after I had the whole video edited, I read somewhere that it is in the book. And I went back to the book, and... Damn! And there it is. And I was like, God damn it. And I cut all of that out because I would look like a total dumbass.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain in this video.
Until we start talking about Bree. And I cut it all out because I would look like a dumbass. I mean, I could tell you guys now about it after the fact. But there's another thing in this episode that I really hated that was not done the same way in the book. And I went back and I read like the whole chapter. So I know for a fact it's not done this way in the book. And when we get to it, I will tell you how it is done. And it's like way better, but okay.
It's always better when it's Gabaldon.
Gabby. We should just call her Gabby. Gabs.
Do you remember when we used to call her Gabaldon?
I know. When we were young and innocent.
And we called Sam Hugan.
Hugan. What's his name? Sam Hugan? Someday you guys should look up that video where we found out that Sam was going to be Jamie. It's like 10 minutes long, and it's hilarious. And we're just like...
And some of it is on a Starz promo, because we were such morons. Tracey, you're closer than me, and you're higher than me. Do you want me to come closer this way? There. All right, now we're even.
All right, okay. All right, let's get started here, because we're going to be here all night.
Although I might have to turn my lights down, because I'm like, dear God, I'm going to have a seizure.
Oh, Lord. Okay, Outlander 411. If not for hope. If not for hope. There's a song there, right?
You're telling me to shut up? Really? Hey, remember this is the season when I eat during videos. I'm eyeing up.
But you haven't done it, so go get some.
I'm eyeing up the saltines across the room right now.
Oh, that's part. Saltines are part of the military diet, FYI. I had 5 yesterday for breakfast and 5 the day before for lunch.
Okay, introduce. Who are the writers and the directors? You talk. I'll be right back.
Okay. If Not for Hope is the name of the episode. The credits include everybody from last week, plus Lord John, plus Ferguson Marsley. So it is a full house tonight in Outlander. The writers are Bronwyn Garrity and Shayna Fewell. They might have written something earlier this season. I have a feeling they probably wrote a couple episodes that maybe were... They were okay, but but I think that they're newer writers, so they're still getting their sea legs. And the director, I've never heard of this director, Mersey Almas. I don't know, it's a cool name, Mersey. It's like Marsley. Mersey. Okay, let's talk about this Easter egg, because someone's become an artist, or an artiste, as we should say.
Does she drawing?
So I wrote down what they all were. So they start out like very like, hi, I'm taking some drawing classes and I'm just drawing stuff. So there's like the gate at Riverrun, and there's like a still life of like a fruit basket or something. But then you see that they start to get more and more serious, and they're all like the slaves. Like she's really like sort of documenting all of the slaves around around Riverrun and doing stuff and whatnot.
And what the slaves are not doing in the show that they were doing in the book. One of them.
What?
I'll explain that later.
Okay.
Slave quarters.
Yes. 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 Okay.
All right. So much to say. Go.
Okay.
All right.
Well, no, we'll get there.
Not that. We're gonna go back to that.
Okay. So we open up where Bree is drawing again, because she's now an artiste and she must be drawing at all times.
She's absolutely like, small for school.
She draws one picture of Roger that she's like, I don't know. I hope it like sort of looks like him. And Claire's like, oh, Bree, it's beautiful. It's a good likeness. And Bree's like, really? I'm an artist now. So Bree is drawing, and Lizzie brings her a little snack, and she sees what Bree is drawing, and Bree is graduated to like drawing like friggin' like Jackson Pollock, you know, scary ass shit.
And poor Lizzie's like, Lizzie's like, I'm going home.
Wait, I thought you were drawing like Monet stuff.
Lizzie's like, I'm going to swim home and I'd rather marry that Bree.
Duh, who wanted me as a concubine? Because I'm ready to go back.
Oh my God, it was like Penny Dreadful.
So Lizzie's like, what the hell is this? And I wrote it down. What have I brought you to? You're possessed. Oh my God, it was so funny.
I know, Lizzie's becoming the comic relief.
I'm really starting to love Lizzie. And Lizzie, without spoiling, Lizzie only gets better from here, you guys. Lizzie is coming into her own. She really is.
All right, two things to say. Number one, every week I think, are they really gonna, is Lizzie gonna be like the books? Because it's gonna be awesome. and number two, does anyone else think I look like Quint in Jaws right now? But I'll catch him and kill him for 10.
No, I don't. Does he eat saltines in that scene?
He eats like, I don't know what it is, chum. I don't know, it seems like holding it like this.
Chum. Oh my God, I'm gonna get another hernia from
you guys, and this week there was a scene of a plate of Bannocks. Did you see that?
No! Who had a plate of Bannocks?
I think it was, gosh, I can't even remember. I think it was Bree. I think it was at Jacosta's. I think it had to have been. There was a huge plate. Yeah, because Claire's out in the woods. It was at Jacosta's, huge plate of Bannocks. And I was like, look at the Bannocks!
Okay. So, they talk for a little bit, and Lizzie's like, I feel so bad, and Bree doesn't blame her. Bree's like, yeah, it's all good.
What did you think about that? Bree's like, it's okay, Lizzie. You're my BFF. And I'm like, oh, now, like, all of a sudden, because I thought, isn't she going to hate Lizzie? You don't hate Lizzie? Jamie was ready to strangle Lizzie.
No, but she doesn't hate Lizzie because Lizzie didn't call her a whore. Jamie did. So that's the big difference. That is where Brianna is having the issue right now. Is the all the whore calling.
When is she going to realize?
My real father never called me a whore.
When is she going to realize that she's in the 18th century? Like, she acts like she's on Capitol Hill. And, like, I mean, my God. It's the 18th century. What do you expect, honey?
I know. So, Lizzie's like, well, okay, thanks for forgiving me, but will you forgive your father? And like I said, Bree's like, yeah, no, he called me a whore. Not happening. So I'm really starting to think that this whole art thing might be like therapy for Bree. That she's like she's traumatized psychologically, so she's almost doing like what would be art therapy today.
Tracey,
and that's where
I have a brochure on it right over there for the kids. They keep pushing the art therapy for the kids. Not even kidding.
Because that's maybe where the darkness. And I couldn't really tell who that picture was that she was like, the really scary
Satan
motion stuff. All right. Okay. Moving on. We hit up Jamie and Claire and Ian in the forest. And they're kind of like just going along and they're talking about, I don't know, Claire and Jamie are talking about something. And they talk about the moving pictures. Jamie's like, Claire, do you know anything about the Mohawk? And she's like, oh, only in the movies, moving pictures, whatever. Jamie's bangs, I hate to even give them attention, but in today's episode of Breakdown Jamie's Bangs.
Oh my God, it's like a band name, you guys. Like, Jamie's Bangs. Wouldn't that be the best band name?
Okay, remember in the 90s where like...
Are you not even going to acknowledge that awesome band name?
Jamie's Bangs would be a good band name.
And tonight, Jamie's Bangs.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jamie's Bangs! Sam Heughan can introduce that band when he's on Saturday Night Live. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamie's Bangs.
Let's become that band.
Okay, so yes, remember in the 90s how nobody really had bangs? I think this was in the 90s, but they had those like little wispy bangs. Do you know what I mean? Like little like feathered bangs almost. That's what these were this week.
The girls in Hollywood do that to cover their plastic surgery.
Oh my God, it was bad.
As soon as they show up after the summer, like in the new season, and they have the bangs, you can't see any of the hairline. That's when you know the plastic surgery. So yes, that's exactly what they do.
Okay, it was not good. So anyway, Ian finds out that they've identified where the Mohawk are from the GPS amulet that Ian wears. It's 2 months ride. The Cherokee, like I was kind of confused, like, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I don't know. They met up with some Cherokee. The Cherokee knew where the tribe was, and they could ride with them, but they weren't going there or whatever, so they had to go it alone. I don't know. What?
I took it as the Cherokee won't go up there to where the Mohawk are.
Oh, because they're so scary?
Because the Mohawk are scary.
Oh.
And the Cherokee are nice, sweet people who Target will someday carry clothing lines on. At this point, Tom says, Jamie looks 10 years younger than Claire.
They both looked really young today. That was the thing I wrote down at the end, that scene at the end. I mean, it was a nice scene, but like it looked like Jamie and Claire from the first season. It really did.
Well, she's got the Cruella streak, and he's
sometimes
got not one bit of gray hair.
Yeah, no, they need to age Jamie up a little bit more. I mean, I don't know. Okay, I have a theory about this episode, you guys. And my theory is that this is the first episode of the season that they shot. And I have a lot of reasons for that. And one very big reason is Bree. But
big.
I'll get into that. But it felt like nobody was really, like last week, everybody felt so like ingrained and as one with their characters. Remember last week I was like, I bought every second of Claire as the mother of Bree and Bree as the daughter of Claire. I didn't get that this week. I felt like everyone's back to talk about summer vacation. Everyone's back from summer vacation. They're kind of getting used to the characters again. They're kind of like feeling their way a little bit. I don't know why. I just felt like this might have been the first episode of the season that they shot.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't even like to think about that. That takes me out of the moment.
No, I just, at one point, that's how, that shows that I wasn't too, like, at one with this episode. I don't know. So anyway.
I'm at one with Quint.
So, is it weird to you that Jamie calls Brianna Bree? I just want to always have him say Brianna.
Yeah, I was going to say he called her Brina. Mm-hmm. The way he pronounced Brianna was Brina.
Yeah. So
and now he just calls her Bree. Maybe because Claire does.
They go this way and that way and this way and that way. And then
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that's one of those nuances that they totally don't get that the fans grab a hold of.
It just is weird to me. Like, Bree is a very, like, 20th century nickname. And I mean, I guess because Jamie hears Claire call her Bree, he's just sort of picked up on it. But it's just, that to me is a difference between then and now. I don't know. Just a thing. Yeah, all right. They go this way and that way, and then they set up camp. And Ian becomes the Dr. Ruth of the 18th century because he is trying to broker a reconciliation here. Because clearly he knows that something is up between the two of them. Mommy and Daddy are fighting, and he doesn't like it. So he goes to Claire, Auntie Claire.
He's just probably used to doing this at home with Jenny starting fights every 5 minutes.
Oh, you think so? Oh, I don't think so. I mean, I think everyone's loud there, but I don't think, and that's the whole problem here is that they're not talking. They're not being loud. They're not yelling and screaming. And that, like, is making Ian upset and having nightmares.
They're not dysfunctional here.
Yes. So Ian goes over to Claire. He's like, you need to go over to him. And Claire's like, I'm not angry, whatever. Go to him, Auntie Claire. Ian, stay out of Mommy and Daddy's biz, Get
over there and catch me a trout.
I did really love Claire's like cowl. That was like a two-toned, like thingy. It just was. It was. Oh, the knitwear is coming back, and I am there for it. It's really
Tracey
good.
loved her two-tone thingy.
Two-tone thingy. Okay, the action shifts to a tavern in Wilmington, where Fergus is looking for a guy named Bonnet. And he finds out that Bonnet will be in Wilmington in a week. So he sees a broadsheet, and who's plastered on the broadsheet but Mr. Martov Fitzgibbons. He's the wanted man.
Mm-hmm.
So Fergus is like, yeah, I'll just be taking that. And we go back to the
Fergus was particularly hot in this episode.
Fergus was pretty hot. I'm trying to think about his hair pulled back versus down. I don't know. I don't like any of their hair. If it's only gonna be a nubbin, don't pull it back. That's my opinion. You know, Murtaugh and Ian and Lord John, good hair because it's long and they have to pull it back. Jamie and Fergus don't really need to. It's not long enough.
I'm sorry, you've lost me at Lord John.
Oh, Lord John.
Wow.
Lord the John.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Focus. Let's focus here. All right. So we're back. We're at the Fergus and Marsley house, and Fergus is not happy. Fergus has been out looking for work with the butcher, and the butcher doesn't want a guy with one hand. But to that I say, what happened to the newspaper? Like, wasn't he working in the newspaper?
I'm thinking the newspaper went by the wayside with Bree's engineering background.
No, because the newspaper is going to be in business at least until 1770, blah, 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 so that they can print something about Jamie and Claire dying in a fire.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, did Fergus get fired? It's discrimination.
I don't know, but you've got to have conflict every episode with Fergus so that Marsley can be awesome.
What? I know, right?
Marsley is so awesome. I'm riveted every time she opens her mouth.
Oh my god, she's so good. But why don't they just move to the ridge? There's a nice empty house right there with pigs and goats and the white sow.
Ridge, you can sleep under a tree with a bunch of sticks over you.
I know.
Just like Lizzie and Bree. Oh my god, tell me if you were Bree, like you'd be like, I'm not leaving this house. I'm sorry.
Oh, we'll get to that in a second.
You want to go back to like sleeping under the tree, the lean-to, or whatever the hell you call it? Or do you want to be Bree and stay with Jocasta and wear your fancy dresses? Oh, that's right. Bree doesn't want fancy dresses.
No. Bree doesn't want any of that. She just wants to be alone to read and draw.
I don't know what the frick she wants. This spoiled little, my God, she's turning into Peggy Shippen. Like, I don't understand it.
Nah.
Brooding, and her little hairdo. How do you like her hair?
I know, right? Okay. So, Marcelly's bummed about the whole no job thing, but she's also really bummed that they have, like, this wanted man in their back room hanging out with all his regulator friends. She's like, yeah, I don't like this. You know, we need to take care of this. Yeah. So, we're at Riverrun now. And Jocasta is having a dinner party. And so, Phaedra comes into Bree's room. Bree's just, like, sitting like this. And Phaedra's like, I'm gonna make you a dress. And Bree's like, why? And Phaedra's like, you know, Miss Jocasta's having a big party. A lord is coming from Virginia. And all of us go, ugh. And there's going to be this person and that person and this person and that person. They haven't yet explained how Phaedra got her awesome accent.
Phaedra's accent throws me a bit.
I love her. I think in the book she's like she maybe is like the daughter of Jocasta's late husband or something. I don't know, but she's.
I don't know, because I just expect everyone to have like a Caribbean accent.
So so of course
she
what
is
happens?
Beautiful
she
too.
Is stunning. She is.
Oh my god.
Stunning.
Like I'm looking at her and I'm like, oh my god. Like I need to Google her.
She's just stunning.
Just to see her in her natural, like what in the 21st century, what she looks like with makeup but she's got one of these faces that she's probably 10 times more beautiful with no makeup on or anything.
I know. Oh, she's stunning. So of course, what does Bree do? Wait, stop right there. The light on you. Wait, sit right there. I'm like, I'm over
and then
Bree.
She's gonna have poor Phaedra like.
Phaedra did not ask to be drawn like one of your little French girls, Bree.
That one had one arm. She's a one-arm prostitute.
Oh my god, I'm getting really tired. I mean, like, honestly, if, like, Monet or Van Gogh or any of them were this annoying, like, I don't know how anybody bought their art.
Well, and how about, what bothered me? I was like, you know what? Just because you're both, I always have the Me Too movement in my head because Bree's just so, like, on the pulse. But I'm like, it's the 60s and the 1960s, but whatever. She was making Phaedra very uncomfortable.
She was. She absolutely was.
And I was like, you're harassing her right now. Okay, so you're not, a guy who's making her uncomfortable, but you're making her uncomfortable right now.
Right.
She does not want to do this. She's from a different time. She's afraid her employer is going to fire her ass.
Right.
Like she's uncomfortable. She's uncomfortable, and she is doing this because you are intimidating her.
Right.
And she feels like she has no other choice but to sit here and have you draw her when she's crawling out of her skin. And I thought the only difference between that and frickin' Weinstein is sex. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, you are making her uncomfortable and feel like she has to sit here and take it. That's all I got to say about that.
I think it's a good point, but because Bree, again, it's another case of, like, not thinking about where you are and when you are. And this isn't like Phaedra can't just be like, oh, sorry I showed up for work 10 minutes late, boss, or sorry I didn't,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a completely different situation.
Yeah.
Phaedra, it's not like, Bree working at the Dunkin' Donuts and she's 10 minutes late for work, you know?
Phaedra could get freaking flogged or something for this.
Right. So, yeah, I kind of like, I mean, I guess it didn't bother, it was more annoying to me than anything else, just because by that point I had, like, been hit over the head with, like, Bree's an artist now, did you know that? Like, so much. And it was like, we needed, like, as if we needed this, like, wait, the light's straight, Phaedra, sit down,
Phaedra, do you happen to have the Heart of the Sea on you anywhere? Doo-doo-doo. Oh my god. That might be the funniest thing I've ever said.
Because we have so much more to get through. I'm never going to get up tomorrow. Oh my god.
I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go, baby.
We do too many Titanic things in this video. Oh my god, there goes my mascara. Okay. Moving on.
Oh my god,
Okay.
You guys, this is my only social activity for the week, okay? I haven't been out to dinner in 3 months. Cheers.
Okay. So later on, Bree has found another place to mope. And I really shouldn't be that hard on Bree, We kid
yes, you should. Yes, you should.
We kid because we love.
She comes into this woman's home, and she treats her like The way she speaks to Jocasta, like she's her mom and she's a teenager, like not picking her socks up like I yell at my own kids. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, she's so disrespectful. I'm done. There's a difference between modern woman and biatch.
So all right, so she's found now that she can sit around in the in the parlor, I guess it is.
Yeah.
So Jocasta comes in and she's like, here's to be gifty, and it's these earrings. And she said they go with this dress of mine because since, you didn't want a new dress, I'm going to have Phaedra alter one of my dresses, and I wear these earrings with that dress.
Jocasta tried to slip that in, and it didn't work.
And Bree's like, I'd rather be alone so that I can read and draw, because did you know I'm an artist? I know you're blind, but maybe you'd enjoy feeling some of my drawings.
Maybe Ulysses could tell you about
I told you guys, the later it gets, the better it gets. Oh my god. I really need a tissue. Give me a tissue.
Ulysses, could you come in here and tell my aunt about my drawings? Oh my god.
Oh my god, I really do need to get a tissue because I'm like dying here. Okay, is my mascara wetting?
I don't think so.
Okay. So yes. So one nice thing does come out of all this, which is that Jocasta tells Bree a little bit about her family's history and her grandmother, Ellen. Is it her grandmother?
Yes.
Yeah, it's her grandmother. And all I can think of as Jocasta is telling all this, it's like, oh my god, please, like, okay, hopefully, because you guys know that we liked that Leary episode. I personally, just me, I know other people don't agree, I didn't feel the need to, like, have an episode with Jenny there so that Jenny could tell Bree about all of her family history, da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
For me, personally, I was fine with it not being there, but I hope that you guys feel a little better that you had Jocasta, who is every bit as tied into the family because she was Ellen's sister.
She's Ellen's sister.
Right. And so she tells about the background and whatever. And that was a very nice moment. It was a very nice moment. And you could see that Bree was very interested in that. That sort of like perked her up a little bit. It also made me think, oh no, that's we get to that later, so never mind. So yeah, so I hope that people like took that as one of those like, well, when the writers are like, well, maybe we don't put things that you expect here or where you expect them, but they come out like later at some point. So maybe that will make people happy because I thought it was very nice. It was a very nice moment. Okay, moving on back to Wilmington. Possibly the best scene of the episode. Not even possibly. I think this is the best scene of the episode. So Marcelly, in fact, I wrote in my notes, best scene of episode. All hail Laura and Lyle. She gets up. I forget why she gets up exactly. I forget exactly what happens to get her up, but she gets up. And she goes and she's like fiddling with something, and Murtaugh's like asleep on the floor, and she goes like this. Wait, let me do it with the wine bottle. She's like pulls this, and she's like, and he's like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry.
And my favorite was like, oh, did I wake you? I didn't even see you there. Here, have a drink of the two that I've just poured.
And so this scene is just so great. Marcelly wants Murtaugh to ask Fergus to fight with him, to join the regulators and fight with him. And Murtaugh's like, well, there's the whole, like, thing. There's the whole, not this thing. And he's sort of joking around, and he's like, well, if there's trouble in paradise, I could just take him out back and shoot him. And Marcelly says the line of the night, which is this: if I wanted him shot, I'd do it myself.
Just like my madre.
And then she goes, and it wouldn't be fair to take him out first. And she just eyes Marta. If he didn't put his boots in my blankets. Like that. And it was so...
And at that moment, you're like, why aren't you on Peaky Blinders?
She is so... I mean, I don't know how that line was written. I don't know how that line was written in the script. But she took that line and she did her thing with it. She did a thing. And
in the formation.
So, like, I think maybe I didn't get enough moments where people made things their own in this episode. That's all I'm going to say. But she took that and she made that Marcelly. And that just oozed, that whole scene oozed Marcelly. You could see Leary coming out, like, you could see that Leary raised this girl to a certain degree. But you could also see that what she's doing is for a beneficial cause. It's because she really loves her husband. And she's not going to put up with him. She's going to have all of him or nothing at all. She'll have a whole man or none at all. Because she wants him to be all that he can be. She doesn't want him to feel like half a man. Because if he feels like half a man, he is half a man. She was so great. She gets the prize, the MVP. Thank you, the MVP for this episode. I think fantastic scene. Thoughts?
Agreed, but I was more into... she's amazing. She comes on the screen, and I'm like, thank God. I was more into, and especially when I'd rather talk about it at the culmination of her request.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, we'll get there. We're back at Riverrun, and it is party time.
Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth.
Oh my God, this was so much fun. This was delicious.
So Bree comes downstairs. I think this might be the last scene of the starting that we have not seen yet. But we all figured out it was Bree because the bracelet was there. And so she meets that icky Gerald Forbes, who's icky AF.
Or as I like to call him, Dana Carvey in a wig. He was so Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey is actually appealing, though, and Gerald Forbes is quite disgusting.
He looks just like Dana Carvey. He's not special.
He's like... I don't know if I think the actor's name is Austin Pendleton. And he's much older. Austin Pendleton is much older than this guy, but like Austin Pendleton in his prime would be sort of Gerald Forbes-y to me. Look him up. So everyone's like, what do you do around your aunt's Riverrun during the day? And she's like, oh, didn't you know? I'm an artist. My latest work is Portrait of a Slave, in the light. And it will be showing at my gallery in the parlor.
And that awful woman. Wait, are you talking about when they're at the dinner table?
No. This is still when they're in the lobby or the foyer or whatever.
Because I couldn't remember when they are. And you're right.
She starts out with like, I just recently, completed a work that depicts Phaedra. And the woman is like, oh, the Greek goddess? And Jocasta was the best. I do love her. I got to give her so many props. She's all like jumping all over that. She's all like, that's it. Yeah. Phaedra, the Greek goddess. Yeah. So who's that over there? And of course, Bree's like, no. Phaedra, the slave. And they're all
and
like,
she's like, you drew a Negro? Didn't she say Negro?
She might have. I don't know. I don't know.
But this is where it drives me nuts because I'm thinking to myself, if that's me, if I'm Bree, yes, the first thought in my head is, you horrible racist woman. But I keep that in there, keep that in here. And my second thought is, I'm in the 18th century and need to close my mouth.
Carol.
You know what I mean?
Carol. Whose loins did she come out of?
Someone who can't light a stove.
Or keep her mouth shut in the 18th century.
It just, Tracey, it doesn't make sense to me. To me, I find it, you guys, I'm still eating saltines, I'm sorry. I find it offensive that we're supposed to believe they're so...
I don't find it offensive. They don't think. I don't find that offensive.
There's something outside my door right now. And I'm sure it's like a raccoon or something. I'm dying to get up and go.
Is it going like this?
Is this really loud?
I have to. Keep talking, Tracey.
Oh my God. What do you guys think it is? Oh my God, she's going to open the door and a raccoon is going to run in. Oh my God. I'll tell you a quick story while she's gone. One time, well, I guess she's back. So I'll tell that story another time. Just remind me, raccoon. What was it?
This is what happens when we film this late. I don't know, but last week I had a little possum out there. He was the cutest little thing. And last night, I had all of the Christmas boxes all flattened out, waiting to go in the recycle this morning. And one of them, you guys, was disgusting. I believe it had pee all over it. And it was so much. This was no squirrel. This was no boating accident.
This was no boating accident.
Okay, forgive me. Where were we?
We're talking about, all right, well, we're talking about just Bree being her mother's daughter. Oh, sorry, I swallowed the wrong way.
I find it offensive that I'm supposed to believe these women are so... I feel like it makes them look stupid. You're in the friggin' 18th century. You know it's the 18th century. I know you're appalled. I'd be appalled. We'd all be appalled. But guess what? You have to step in line a bit here.
I don't think it makes them stupid. I think it makes them like just kind of thoughtless a little bit, or not
stupid
thoughtful.
that they can't go with the flow here. You know, how have you survived this long? I get it, and Bree's Claire's outspoken too, and blah blah blah. Come on now, how have you gotten? And every single thing that one of these 18th century people says appalls them. They're like, oh. It doesn't make sense to me.
They don't adapt very easily. They're not that flexible. But I mean, again, I get that it's not easy, but you also, you don't want to draw your attention to yourself in that way. And maybe they're just not used to it, or they have to learn. Like Claire, I think, has learned her lesson about all of that. Maybe Bree hasn't. So, I don't know. But anyway, so it's interesting that then they meet Judge Alderdice. Alderdice? Yeah, Alderdice. Judge Alderdice. And he's actually pretty interested in Bree's art, and would definitely like to go to the gallery to see it. He said, I'd be very interested to see your drawings.
Mm-hmm.
That Lieutenant Wolf from like the first or second episode is back, and he's more disgusting than ever.
Oh, God, he was gross.
He was gross. And I'm sorry, like, all the double entendres, all the, like, oh, I'd like to take you out for a walk to show you something.
Show you my...
Would you like to look at my drawings? That's what I call it. My drawings. They're just all so gross. So anyway, which one of them? Oh, Forbes. Forbes wins the prize of getting to like take her arm and take her to see something.
Ew, and
Jocasta's like, let's all go into the parlor because just between you, me, and the lamppost, he skeeves me a little too, and I don't want to leave her alone with him. Okay, so they all go in the parlor, and well, doesn't Forbes have a bunch of gemstones
that are worth like millions and millions tons of, they're like this big, and there's like 4 of them.
So Forbes is like, well, which one do you like the best? There's the diamond, there's the sapphire, there's an emerald, there's the ruby, there's the this, there's the that, there's the topaz, there's the this.
There's a diamond. Would he really travel? Like, have jewels, will travel?
Maybe they just weren't that as, well, I guess they were kind of valuable. So file that away, I guess, because, you know, Bree, you didn't really see Bree, like, sort of, like, look at them with interest in terms of, I wonder if I could get a hold of those, and then, you know, that's a good angle. That's a good angle. You marry the guy, you get the gems, you find Roger, you hightail it, now Roger knows, you know, where some stones are, you hightail it out of there, you go back to the stones, you got some gems, you go back, boom. Peachy keen. All's good.
You're forgetting you sleep with this disgusting guy.
That's true. Well, let me just interject. What was Jocasta's plan in terms of getting these suitors, getting one of them married off to Bree, when, you know, on the wedding night, she's like, surprise!
Yeah, I don't know how to.
Nobody dealt with that little problem, but okay.
That's a great point that I never even thought of.
And maybe they talk about it in the book. I don't remember, but
did you notice that she was at show? She was at varying stages of pregnancy in this whole episode.
I know. Yeah, I know. Okay, moving on. So just when the gems, and Bree actually like had a really good call with like, you know, what do you think, my dear? Well, I want to know what Mrs. Aldice thinks, or Aldila, whatever the hell her name is. Alderdice. Well, I don't know. You know, Teresa, I want to know what she thinks. Teresa and Tria.
No, I would say what Judice.
Which I thought was very good. That was very like very tactful, very graceful. And then Ulysses announces, you know, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Virginia.
And I'm like, bring it! I'm like, bring it. And he walks in.
Oh, did you know he was coming?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't think you saw the scenes from last week.
Because I knew of the storyline, so I knew.
Okay,
and he walks in, and I go at the top of my lungs, look who's coming to dinner.
I was just like, yes.
But Bree was literally like, I would have been like, Roger who? Why are my parents out in the wilderness somewhere? I mean, he walked in, and I was like,
he was just like little hearts and birds, like cartoon hearts and birds, just like fly around him all the time.
Okay. Bonnet, if he were a nice guy, I guess I should say. Just sheer animal magnetism. Forget about like the storyline. Bonnet or Lord John. Really? Okay, I'm going to make that choice for you. You're going to take Bonnet, and I'm going to take Lord John.
Okay. All right, I can live with that.
And we're totes going on a double date.
Okay. If Lord John can be my brother-in-law,
Tracey.
and he's still in my life to be like, you know, all like fun and you know, I can do shopping with him and stuff. Good.
Oh, no, I'm not thinking of him like that. Come on. I'm just thinking animal magnetism. Lord John is like the perfect man.
I know.
And what does that say about us? That Tracey's like all panting over Stephen Bonnet, the bad
boy.
dude.
Good boy.
And I'm like, Stephen Bonnet, Lord John.
Oh, and can we just say, Stephen Bonnet, long ponytail, good wig.
That's probably his hair. I'm sorry, but Lord John knows his way around the bedroom no matter what. It doesn't matter who's in there with him.
Yep. Lord John knows what to do.
Yeah, Lord John knows what to do. So you know what? I'd take it.
Okay.
I have to say going forward, though. I have things to say. Oh my God, so let's hurry up and get on with this.
Okay. So he arrives. He knows her parents. Blah, 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 blah. We're back in Wilmington. March is looking for some rifles. Baby Jermaine won't shut up. Or Jermaine. as I should say. And Mark's like, yeah, maybe we could just like, put him in the middle of the tax people, and like his screaming would make them like run back to England or whatever. And Merce is like, yeah, Fergus, join us. And you can see Marceline in the background, like, and she's so cute. She's like, the Gloriana's in port, and then she's like, to Murtaugh. It was very nice.
Yes.
So we're at dinner at Riverrun, and Lord John is telling all sorts of Jamaica stories, and he is charming AF.
Oh my God. I mean, really? He's putting everyone there to shame. He's so perfect. I'm sitting here watching this and I'm thinking, oh my God, like all I can think of is a Taylor Swift song, believe it or not, where she says he's perfect and she says the kind of flawless I wish I could be. I am so like
I'm really surprised here because I did not think you were a big Lord John girl.
I wasn't until this guy showed up. I mean, are you kidding me? He's perfect.
Oh, so
and
dreamy.
I seriously am thinking the kind of flawless I wish I could be. He's the in the scene. I mean, he's just he's so polished and he's so perfect with conversation, and everything that pops out of his mouth is just wonderful. And I'm just like hanging on his every word. And the funniest part about it is, in this scene, he's at the dinner table and everything. Everybody in the room is just, when he walked in, I mean, even the old women were like, ugh. I'm usually not the one to go for the perfect guy. Like, I'm like, oh, please, anybody can be perfect, whatever. I like the guy in the corner who's a little off, but not Lord John. Maybe it's because of Lord John's, he's unattainable.
Maybe, because, he's not real.
Tracey likes the bad boys in this, and I like the ones who are unattainable.
All right, so LJ tells all these stories, and then he's like, no, I've been talking too long, turns the mic over to Bree, and Bree's like, well, I don't have anything so entertaining, but I know the scheme that I'll play with you. It's psychological. And Forbes is like, ooh.
This was so weird. Am I the only one who thought it was so weird and stupid and uncomfortable and awkward?
Yes, it was kind of weird. I will say Bree's MVP moment of the night was when Forbes turns to him. She's like, tells everyone that you can close your eyes when you think of who's in the forest with you. And Forbes goes to her, must I close my eyes when you are before me?
Oh, God.
And she just looks at him and she goes, yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you like your eyes closed for good, huh?
Close your freaking eyes.
And that was just so great. That was really funny. Okay. So everyone thinks, and she starts with artiste, and she figures out that he has secrets that even his mother doesn't know about. Oh, does he?
Ew.
So he's like, no, I don't. And his mom's like, no, he doesn't. And he's like, I need some air. Bye. And Lord John's like, and you don't notice any of that until you watch it the second time. Just saying.
I didn't.
Just saying.
I didn't.
So Lord John admits that it was Jamie in his forest, because, well, you're sitting right here in front of me, and, wait, I think that this is, yeah, they're still at the dinner table.
What was his wife's name again? Geneva's sister?
Isabel.
He's like, Jamie Isabel.
No, but, I mean, Lord John covers well. He's like, well, of course I'm thinking about him because you're sitting right here and, you're his daughter. And they get into this whole discussion about, like, Jamie and that he's honorable, and Bree's like, don't tell me about that. That he's honorable. And LJ's like, put a bit in that. And then Forbes, disgusting as he is, like, well, what about me? Don't you want to hear about my forest person? And Bree's like...
And she's like, shut up, Dana Carvey.
And Bree's like, good fake out. So they're in the parlor. They drag her in the parlor. LJ's like, should I go get the doctor? And she's like, no. And Lizzie runs in. She's like, oh, mistress, when I heard you had fainted, I was so worried about you in your condition. There we go again, Lizzie. Spill some more of that secret. Here, take this bottle of secrets and just go.
Lizzie could use that bottle of secrets.
I love Lizzie. She's so great.
Lizzie could use a bottle of something.
So great. So Bree spills to Lord John, and she's figured out what Jocasta is all about here. Jocasta is getting her a man, because she needs a man.
Jocasta brought her some manses into the house. House.
Lord John's like, well, here, I've been carrying this around, and I was told to give this to you personally. And it's a letter from Jamie. So then Bree, I forget if it's the next day, whatever, but she has sort of a come-to-Jesus meeting with Jocasta. She's like, yeah, I know what you're up to. And Jocasta's like, look, you need a man. It's time to find a husband. And, if you make a good match that's profitable, ain't no skin off my bones. And then she tells a little bit more about Ellen and how Ellen was pregnant when she got married. But she got married, so...
Did we know that?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. But what I wrote down is, like, maybe that's why Jocasta last week was so kind to Brianna and was like, oh, my sweet dear, because her sister was sort of in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
And she... I forget if Ellen is older or younger than Jocasta. I don't know. It probably doesn't matter. But just, her sister was there, had the same thing, so she kind of felt for Brianna as a result. So, back to the Wilmington Tavern. Look, here comes Stephen Bonnet. Saunter again, chatting with a little bar wench. I loved Ferguson and Marta at the table with some guy, and the guy's like, yeah, it's him. And Fergus just, like, spins the coin, and it goes, and the guy's like, boom, picks it up.
And the other table is like this. And I'm like, my God, every table in this tavern is ready to get him.
So Bonnet's his room, Murta goes in, points a pistol. Bonnet's like, I think you found the wrong gentleman. And he's like, yeah, I haven't found a gentleman because you're no gentleman or whatever. Stephen Bonnet, I mean, I love Stephen Bonnet, but, like, he kind of is clueless in some ways because he actually tries to go after Murta.
And Murta put him down fast.
Like,
he pistol whipped him.
Stephen Bonnet goes down like a bag of potatoes.
And then, oh, look, it's Fergus.
Does Fergus come in at that point?
Doesn't he? Or is it later?
I think it's later.
No, I swear he came in because I said, wait, where was he the whole time?
Maybe. I don't remember. So we're back at Riverrun. So Brianna can't sleep. She looks at the letter. She's like, I'm not going to read it.
I would have run my ass upstairs with that letter the second it was handed to me. It's Jamie frickin' Fraser.
Yeah, but Jamie Fraser called her a whore. A whore!
I'd be like, okay, sorry, I didn't mean to. Sorry, I'm so slutty.
So
yes. Oh, it's yes. All right, sorry.
So she's really showing, by the way. Like, she gets up and she's like,
right now.
Yeah, in this
in 10 minutes she won't be. I'm like, I get that they had the corset and they pulled it all in, but at one point later on, I'm like, where'd the belly go?
She's really pregnant, and, like, again,
because
I don't know.
Earlier on in the episode, I'm like, dear God, she's really pregnant. And then later on, I'm like,
she's just, I don't know what suitors are gonna think, but, like, she's clearly, at least 5 months along.
Well, maybe they're going to be told.
And depending on whether it was 4 months round trip or 4 months each way, she might have been. She's maybe 6 months now. I don't know, but she's pretty.
Maybe they've been
pregnant.
told. Maybe they've
suitors?
been told.
Maybe they're not going to take her dirty goods.
Maybe they've been told that she was attacked or whatever, and.
Do you think if they're not going to take her dirty goods with, like, a violent attacker's, spawn.
Okay. Who do we have that we're dealing with here? Forbes. Dana Carvey is gross. Dana Carvey isn't gross. Forbes is gross. The other little portly man, what was his name?
Oh, Lieutenant Wolf.
Him.
Wasn't he after Jocasta at one point?
Probably, but
Maybe
like
not.
they're all gross.
They're all gross, but they're all really rich, and they're all really like in touch with their status.
Maybe they were told her husband died, and she's in the family way.
Oh,
and her husband died, and they're like, you know what? I can't get anyone on my own except for a Russian mail order bride, so I better go for this girl.
I think they would probably get that news gradually. I think Jocasta would be like, well, just one more thing. Just one more thing to tell you. Okay, but anyway, so Brianna, she can't sleep. She's a little hungry. She gets up, goes to get a snack. Maybe that's where you saw the Bannocks, because I think maybe she was eating one. And...
Oh, God. Oh.
She hears some voices. Much like Carol heard just outside the door. Little scratching, a little, heavy breathing. She goes into the pantry. No!
And she sees plenty of...
John and Aldi Law.
She sees plenty of backbiting.
She sees Aldi Law spilling every one of those shit. This is good wine I'm wasting. Every one of those secrets. Right out there,
Oh my God.
Right out there. Well, I guess it's really Lord John spilling his secrets. But, anyway. Yeah, okay. So we need to talk about this. I have 3 words for you. Oh, hell no.
Totally unnecessary. Totally different from the books.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Because this is where I read the whole friggin' chapter to be like, no, this is not how it went down in the books. I'm sure.
I'm sorry, you guys, because I know that all my chewing is totally on the audio in this. I'm sorry.
Okay, in the books, because I literally just read it. In the books, I don't know why Bree is out walking in the middle of the night, but she is.
Because she's Bree, and
she's Bree. Maybe she needs some drawing inspiration. I don't know, whatever. So she was walking around, and she's down by the slave quarters, and she sees Lord John coming out of the slave quarters. And she kind of follows him. She follows him all the way to, the door until he sees her. And she's like, oh, nice night for a walk, isn't it? Or something like that. And he's like, yeah. Uh-huh, yeah. And she thinks about it and thinks about it and thinks about it. And the other thing is, and this is pretty much laid out in the book too, Bree has fabulous gaydar. Fabulous. She even says it. She doesn't say that word, but she says, Bree has a sense about this. And she sort of couldn't put her finger on something when she met Lord John. And the other thing about this too, that's a little different from the books, or from the TV show, is that in the books, she's this isn't the first time she's met Lord John. She's met him. She's gotten to know him a little bit, I think. He's been there a little longer.
I couldn't remember that.
It hasn't been 12 hours, which is another stupid thing about all these proposals. I know I only met you 12 hours ago, but will you marry me?
Well, that I couldn't remember from the book at all. Did my girl, Geneva him?
No. She knew him a little better. He had been around for, I don't know why, but whatever. But no, Bree did not walk in on him having sex with someone.
Disgusting. I'm sorry.
It was more of a it was like if, rather than Baby going to the dancers, little huts area, to have her tryst with Johnny, if Johnny had come into mom and dad's room and they were doing it there. Into the guest house.
Nobody puts Baby in the corner.
And then it would have, not only that, but it would have been if, Lisa was walking around like, Mom and Dad, like, do you... Oh,
I feel pretty? Or I feel pretty? Okay.
Oh, hell no.
It was completely gratuitous bullshit cable. This is my biggest complaint. Why do they think we need to see that? Do they think we're that stupid that we can't figure out that Lord John had a little tryst, had a little hookup with somebody? I think the innuendo, okay, first of all, coming out of the slave quarters was kind of like mysterious, but you knew why. Number two, it made Lord John really down to earth that he's hooking up with a slave. You know what I mean? It made Lord John, it just solidified the fact that behind this snooty, sweetheart, but snooty, highborn English exterior is a good guy who doesn't judge and doesn't pigeonhole. And I loved when he came out of the slave quarters in the book. I was like, this is a good guy right here. And now we've got to see him up against the frickin' silverware cabinet.
Well, no, Aldi Law was up against the silverware cabinet.
Yeah.
He was up against you.
I'm sorry. I've said this before. Completely unnecessary.
Okay. No, I don't disagree with you. I do think that just coming out of the slave quarter was maybe like a little, like in the books, it was...
He would have been doing this.
Well, but no. Because in the books, you get Bree's inner monologue. And you get the, like, that was really weird. What was that about? Well, wait, I sort of noticed this too, and that too. And the way he was talking about her father, maybe, or this and that, da-da-da-da-da. Like, she could have this whole inner monologue where you realize it as she does. You realize it through her. You can't do that in the TV show. So I kind of think that maybe coming out of the slave quarters is a little too subtle.
What if he was, like, fixing, like buttoning back up his pants? And his hair was hanging out of the ponytail. And
the other thing in the book is that Bree didn't know Bree never saw anything. Bree kind of just rolled the dice with that. When she, later on when she tries to blackmail him, she's like, I saw you coming out of the slave quarters, and I know what you were up to, and, she doesn't know for sure because she didn't see it. And I do agree with you in that there's probably a way that they could have pulled it off where she and we don't see anything, but you get the gist of it. My issue with it is completely different. My issue is that
I haven't finished.
Oh, okay.
So I have a feeling. My other comment is Lord John really gonna do that in the middle of the dining room or the pantry or wherever the frick he is? Come on now. No brother of Hal is going to do that in the middle of the house.
That is my issue with it. Lord John, really, he is going to go into the pantry in Jocasta's home.
Yes,
with this guy.
Lord John would be appalled at that.
And I'm really, and again, the books, show's the show. I have, thought through my mental Rolodex of, I've read all the Lord John books. I know where he's done the deed. And as far as I can remember, it's usually in his own home. Or, out in the woods somewhere, maybe?
Lord John would be offended by someone
or
doing
in the slave quarters.
Or in the slave quarters.
But he's never, if it's really that risky, if he's really going to, if the consequences are that high, is he really going to go into the pantry of his host
No.
and
Lord, Lord,
have sex with like another guest?
and
Are you
and
kidding
and
me?
okay, so okay. I'm gonna compare this to George Michael. Lord of mercy on him. God, I was pissed off at him when he died. George Michael, do you remember him getting caught in the
In the
in the
bathroom.
bathroom?
Yes.
And I remember a friend of mine telling me they were reading that George Michael said that he actually, that was the allure, was the fear of getting caught, and that there was something risky about it. And you know what I mean? Lord John, that's not the way he operates.
Agreed. Lord John is not a risk taker.
No,
He's
no,
not.
no, 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 no. He would have been offended. He would have been offended by someone
Right.
doing that, someone's
Right.
home.
Right.
I mean, get Lord John right, people.
Right.
I'm just so frickin'
Right.
sick of Hollywood. Why? Why? I wanted them to answer that question. Why did you have to do that? Why would you taint Lord John?
I'm going to
John's
tell you something,
character
Carol.
like that?
It's for me, it's where it happened. It's where it happened that was the issue. If
Up against the
Brianna had like decided to go out and for a walk in the middle of the night and came across the same scene, like saw it through the window of the slave quarter, or even like, I don't know, saw it in the woods or something like that.
Right.
And we saw that action, I would have no problem with that. I'm a little less like, and I get it, like I get what you mean about like, you don't have to see everything. In this case, I kind of disagree with you that I think you probably would need more than like coming out of the slave quarter, even like, buttoning your shirt.
Why? Why?
Because people are that dumb. Because the people are that dumb. They are.
No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, I'm sorry. You're buttoning up your pants. Your hair's hanging out of your thing. You're kind of looking around. No, they're not that dumb. They're not that dumb. Once again, frickin' Hollywood has to shove sex in our faces 24/7.
Okay. Why wouldn't he button his shirt and fix his hair in the slave quarters?
Okay. Maybe he didn't want another slave to see him. I don't know. But honestly,
the other slave already saw him.
But you're talking about us being that dumb that we don't know what's going on. Come on. We know George. We know Lord John is gay.
But the thing is, Brianna doesn't know it, and we
yes, she does
we have
now.
We have no way of knowing her mental, her stream of consciousness in her mind the way we do in the book.
Okay, why wasn't it a slave? Why wasn't it a slave?
Well, that I don't know.
Why was it? Well, why did we have to introduce this character who showed up with his mother?
That I don't know.
Why? Unless they're going somewhere with that, why wasn't it a slave?
I don't know.
Is this we're covering something up? We don't want to go there. Oh, that might cause a controversy. I don't know. I don't know, but the whole entire thing I thought was wrong.
I don't know.
Oh my God, I'm looking at it right now. I just can't. I mean, and Bree stood there for a long time. Are they linens next to them?
I think it's like a big like table where they keep the tablecloths or whatever. Well, that was that really was my issue with it, was that it would just never happen because Lord John would never be that dumb to have sex in the pantry.
No, he would not.
So
I thought it was really neat in the book, the way it was the slave quarters, and it was, late and outside, and she happened to really go far away from where she was. He could have gotten caught by Jocasta, for God's sake. Oh my God, the whole thing just made me
certainly,
sick.
Yeah, no, it was not good. It was not good. We will agree to disagree on if she had come across them in a place where it was believable that Lord John would have gone to have sex with this guy.
The slave quarters?
Whether it be the slave quarters, whether it
Don't
be
you think it's a little odd for Lord John Grey to be hanging out in the slave quarters?
Right, but again, okay. Again, think of the difference between the book and the show, okay? In the show, Bree's outside. She sees Lord John coming out of the slave quarters. Even if he's like this or like this or even like this, it wouldn't be like she couldn't come at him with I saw what you did. He'd be like,
come
what did I do?
on. Yeah, but okay. Let's say he comes out of the slave quarters. His shirt is unbuttoned down to here like Danny Terrio.
My God. We have to move on from this, too, because it is...
His shirt is unbuttoned down to here. His hair's messy. There's a piece falling out. He's got the wig, but this is kind of like... And he's doing... But fix it up. Come on. Why not? And I am the first one. I am always the first one to say, it's on film. It's visual. They have to change it because we have to. There was... Again, I'm going to reserve judgment just in case possibly maybe they're going somewhere with this. Maybe this guy's going to show up in the future. Maybe in the future. Maybe they wanted to introduce this. I don't know. From the backbiting, it seemed like they knew each other pretty well before that.
I think this guy's one and done. I think this guy's like a tool to get to this point.
I'm sorry, you shouldn't have been in that room where somebody like Bree or, God forbid,
right.
like
Ulysses, anybody. That's my issue with it. That is my issue.
Shouldn't have done it. And why? I want an answer. I want an answer. I want to know why you did it this way.
Tell us what you guys think in the comments. Like, would you have rathered this the way that they did it this way, or would you have rathered the way they did it in the books, where you don't see Lord John doing anything, but you see him coming out of the slave quarters?
Yes.
And again, he's not like tucking his shirt or doing anything like that. He's just walking out of the slave quarters
in the middle of the night. Tracey, it reminded me of the were they in France when they were? Was it the brothel in France where there were just people having sex everywhere?
No.
And I was like, why is this necessary?
No, it was the brothel where Jamie was living in.
Yeah, but there was, by the end of the episode, it was like
stupid.
It was like halfway through the season,
that was and you and box of hair.
Yeah, you and I were like, this.
When old Ian like walked in, and he's like, Jamie, why do you still have young Ian here? And this girl's like, these two are up against the wall, like,
yeah. Do that again. The audience wants to see it again.
I'll have what she's having.
Seriously, gratuitous black sails. Remember we used to say about black sails? Gratuitous didn't need to happen. Continue. Let's move on.
Okay, Wilmington. So Myrta Fergus are caught with Bonnet.
Myrta Fergus? Myrtus.
So Myrta's like, just make a run for it. Just don't ask. Just make a run for it. And punches Fergus. And Fergus like, hey, okay, I'm gonna go. Bye. Myrta's like, yeah, I caught like world-renowned murderer Stephen Bonnet. And the guys are like, yeah, except we know who you are. You're a world-renowned regulator, Myrta Fitzgibbons. And
yeah, I didn't even notice. What happened to Stephen Bonnet?
What do you mean? Oh, I guess they took him. I don't know. They took Myrta. I'm assuming they took Stephen Bonnet, but I've also assumed that Roger went back through the stones, and clearly that didn't happen. So, ass out of you and me. There we go. Okay, we're back at Riverrun, and it is time for tea for Bree. Tea with Bree.
God. Oh
Forbes
my God.
is ready. Wait. Did I? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is, Phaedra's like, yeah, it's tea time, you gotta wear this dress, because Forbes is downstairs. And Bree's like, oh, hell no. No, I gotta go for a walk. Tell Lizzie to get in here.
Just tell him that I had a headache, I had to leave, I didn't feel well.
Lizzie is like...
I don't just gotta... What did she say?
I don't even know. I'm just looking at how long this video is. This video... Last week, I was like, this video's gonna be really long, and then I cut half of it. This week... Oh my God, it's going to be really long. Okay.
Oh, fine. Your Jaws reference is okay, but my Dirty Dancing reference is not.
Which Dirty Dancing reference did you do?
I don't just... Oh, listen to her. Which Dirty Dancing reference did you do?
Oh my God. You are going to get up earlier than me, and you are going to kill me. And I'm going to be like,
Are you kidding me? I'm going to have to get up before I go to bed. I don't know what's waiting for me. So let's continue.
Okay, we're getting to the end, I think.
Lord John.
So Bree holds off Forbes. She gets word. She sends words with Lizzie for LJ to meet her. They're walking around. Bree's like, "Yeah, will you marry me?" And Lord John is like, eh. And then he does that classic Lord John thing of like, "Oh dear God, what happened?" The Frasers all make him go like, "Oh dear God, what now?" Oh Jesus, help me! Jesus, take the lead. Oh Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Oh, you guys, I am just staring because they're talking. All right, keep going because I'm past you.
Bree, this is what kills me. I sort of alluded to it earlier. Bree has known these people for 12 hours. 12 hours. And, in the books, I don't have any of that left. Sorry, so I'm going to have to move on to that. In the books, she's, known these people for longer. And so she's got, more of a relationship.
I know. It's very weird.
I'm just like.
Can I just say something really quick that has zero to do with she and Lord John? I said last night, Tom made a comment. Oh, I forgot about all Tom's notes. I haven't been reading these about Bree and Roger and how weird the whole thing is. And I was like, I really feel like the Bree-Roger relationship hasn't been all that established. You're kind of like, why does she want her parents dragging through the woods to go
it's more established. I think it's pretty established at this point.
I guess
it's more established than the Bree-Roger or Lord John relationship. So Lord John says no. Then Bree's like, yeah, I saw what you did. I know who you are, and I saw what you did. And Bree's like, well, I'm gonna, and he's like, are you trying to blackmail me? Because you don't want to play fire here. And she's like, well, then I'll tell my father. And Lord John and us are both like, you go right ahead and do that. Because it ain't going to be much of a surprise, my friend. No. Bree picked... then she goes back into wait, you picked my father in the forest. And I'm like, didn't we already go through this last night?
Oh my God, my father.
Oh my God.
I wasn't wearing my glasses. My father.
My God. So, she's all surprised then to hear Lord John be like, he was married and yeah, he knows how to have sex with women, basically. Surprise. So, this would be a real marriage, So they sit down and they talk. She tells him the whole story about, what happened to her. And she can't marry Forbes because she's in love with somebody else, but she'll do what she must for the sake of my child. Which was just an icky line. Now, I gotta tell you guys, this scene between Bree and Lord John is one of my favorite scenes in the entire book. In the entire series. It's just so well written, and it's such a chess match between the two of them. And the two of them have this really great chemistry in the books. And Bree's kind of almost playing dress up in this scene in the books. And Lord John knows it. Okay? And yet is kind of this juxtaposition of irritated and beguiled by all of this. And I just didn't get it. I just didn't get it out of this scene.
No,
but you know
what?
All. In its defense, this is one of those scenes that I was just right from the start. I was like, the TV show will never get this scene. The scene will never be as good in the TV show as it is in the books. It's just not going to happen. This scene is partly because why I think maybe it was this episode was filmed early on, because I feel like this wasn't one of. I mean, we've talked a lot about how, there have been things. There have been feelings about Sophie Skelton and how she maybe got a slow start, but she's cranked it up in this season. And this episode to me felt like she was just, getting her muscles warmed up, her Bree muscles warmed up. But again, this is a really difficult scene. And I knew that the TV show wouldn't be able to pull it off, or I doubted that the TV show would be able to pull it off. And the TV show really didn't pull it off. So, I guess no harm, no foul.
I'm still waiting for get the lassie off my chest and fetch me a clean shirt.
You know, and that you said that last week and I cut it, so
I'm going to say it every week because I'll never get over missing that line.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of disappointing. There was nothing really, like, you know, outrageously wrong with it. I really didn't like, it was kind of weird that she told him the whole sordid story.
Right.
Although I think she probably told it so that he could, and I'm sorry if that is in the book, because I didn't have time to see if that story is in the book. You know, but it kind of connects back to when he tells her, like, that about Willie, and he loves Willie, but Willie's not his, and he still loves him with all heart anyway.
That was
blah, blah,
nice.
blah, blah, blah. It was kind of a nice connection, so, okay, fine, whatever. It just they don't have the chemistry that the book Bree and Lord John do. I think partly because they have known each other for all of 12 hours. They don't have at least a little bit of history that they do in the book. So, you know, I didn't have high expectations. So, whatever. Thoughts?
Continue. I agree. I was actually just trying to find my blog post from that because I remember saying how this was a turning point for me. This was when I started liking Lord John in the series because I didn't read all the Lord John books. I did read. Is it okay that I skimmed some of them? I remember buying like all the Lord John books and like going through them with the Kindle, looking up the name Jamie because I wanted to see anything. But this was a turning point because when she saw him coming out of those slave quarters, and then the two of them had the conversation the next day it was the next day, right? At the in the bench.
Right.
They sat in the bench.
Right.
I remember blogging and saying, "Oh, I have totally seen the light. I had issues with Lord John from day one, and I remember in the books when Claire heard or saw Jamie and Lord John in Dragonfly, I think it was, like hugging, embracing.
Voyager.
Was it Voyager?
Yeah, because he was 16 in Dragonfly.
Oh, you're right. Okay. And saw them embracing and like heard Jamie say, "Oh, John." And I was like kind of weirded out by that. Like, what the hell is this all about? And I don't know. I just always thought that Lord John was this snooty guy. And then to see him coming out of the slave quarters and then hearing the conversation he had with Bree, I was like, oh, okay, I'm good.
The conversation between the two of them is just so nuanced, so many levels, so many, like Lord John goes through like 17,000 emotions. It's so well written.
If you haven't read the books, you guys, maybe just go back and find this scene.
Yeah,
and
really
read it
good.
because it's really, really good. And this honestly was what made me in the books go, oh, I think I love Lord John now. And I basically, and it was a bit of the whole like gay, like I just loved him.
Yeah. He totally had Z formation moments in that scene.
He was Z formation. I was like, I want to be his total like gay best friend. I mean, I want him to be my gay best friend. I love him.
Yeah, no, but like in a like, you know, you're gonna go there. You gonna go there, bitch? Oh, you don't want to touch the stove, honey, because you're gonna get burned. And also, I think in the book they like settle everything there. Like it's not like I won't marry you. Okay, I'm going to go do what's best for my child, which is just like the stupidest line. I'm sorry,
right?
And then walk off. No, they settle it right there. He gives her a little ring, like one of the ring that what's his name? I forget if this is in the TV show or not. Like he always wears a ring that Hector's the guy from Culloden, gave him. Mm-hmm. He gives her that ring as like a little engagement ring or whatever.
Hector. No one cares about Hector anymore now that we're giving you his ring.
I know. So they go back or Bree goes to the parlor. There's Forbes all, and you know he's just about to pop the question. Lord John runs in and he's like, "Oh, darling, have you told them our good news? And she's like, and he's like, yeah, we're getting married. I just asked for her hands. And Joe Costa is so great. Joe Costa is like, and Joe Costa's like, dear, come here. And she's like, I don't know how you did it, but you are a Mackenzie through and through girlfriend.
I took it differently than that. I took your Mackenzie, meaning that, you slid that one. I didn't see that coming. You slid that one right in, like sneaky. You're a sneaky Mackenzie.
See, I took it as like,
because she expected her and wanted her to marry Forbes, and then now I'm assuming that Jacosta's going to be fine with it because she's a little bit, going to be a little embarrassed, like, sorry, Forbes. But I took it to mean like she figured that Bree was kind of sneaky, like, whoa, you slid that one in.
I took it to mean like, I just invited Lord John, because he's a nice guy. I never thought you'd land him. Like, there's Forbes. Lord John is, there's Forbes and there's Lord John. Like.
Was this from the book?
No. I don't think
because I was like, I don't remember this.
No. In fact, like I said, in the book.
But wait, in your head, aren't you like, where are we going with this?
What, with Lord John and Bree?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where we're going because it's the book.
I just said, was this in the book?
Oh, I thought you meant that this actual scene with, like, Jocasta being like, you go, girl.
So in the book, they did say they were getting married?
In the book, that scene ends, I think, like they settle it when Lord John and Bree settle it on the bench. Lord John says, okay, we're engaged. Yes. So Lord John and Bree are engaged. Jocasta's like so psyched because it's a match she could have only had dreamed of, and all is right with the world for now. Okay.
All would be right with my world if I were Bree right now.
So we're back to the woods. Into the woods.
Tell me, wait, hang on, because I really did think about that. I was like, okay, married to some heterosexual old guy or married to Lord John?
Oh, no contest.
I mean, I would take Lord John in a second.
But Bree doesn't really want either option. She wants Roger.
But this is where I'm saying, has it really been developed? Do you really feel that she wants Roger? No, she fights with him all the time. I'm like, what? I don't even understand this. I don't even understand why. I don't see it. I'm sorry.
They haven't let that relationship really develop as much as it should either. So I
don't. Here we are in the book, having Lord John doing some dude up against the silverware, because we have to visually. It's a TV show.
I think it was the napkin holders, but okay, whatever.
And yet Bree, I'm sitting here like, what's not believable to me? The fact that she gives a shit that he was sold to the Indians, because I don't see it. I don't see where I feel like she wants what she just wants him because absence makes the heart grow. Yeah, whoa.
But I mean, it's like what we said. It's like what we said back in the episode where she saw him again and she was like, "Yes, I love you." Like there was no transition to that. There was no, like, it went from, "Hi, hey Roger. Oh, like my mom made it? Really? That's great. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, bye."
Thanks for that.
To like, "I love you." Like there was no.
I don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it. So, I see more of an appreciation for Lord John at this point than Roger.
You just see you have more of a history with Lord John, and he's probably. I don't want to say he's more of an interesting character because I think Roger's an interesting character too.
I love Roger. Okay, so last night I said, I'm getting ahead of myself. Keep going. Okay.
All right, we're in the woods. Jamie is just really pissy. He just like cuts his hand and he swears in Gaelic and and then Rollo is woof woof woof. And he comes running over and he's got a bone. He's found a bone.
Rollo's got a bone to pick with you.
It's a big bone. It's a big person bone. So, of course, they hand it right to Claire. And she's like, this is human. So, they find the rest of it. Rola's, like, well into it, which is really kind of gross. They're looking around. They don't find anything. Ian's like, I recognize that, coat or whatever. That dude was with
Waistcoat.
the Indians when Ian's got the memory if he's remembering some guy's waistcoat.
That's because he's like 14.
He was with them when I sold Roger to the Indians. Okay.
I thought about the waistcoat memory, and I thought, yeah, but they live like in the woods. Of course you're going to remember that.
I guess. But the Indians all have such different clothes. Like, it would be so hard to remember specific ones because everybody's are different.
My favorite is the Indian with the red coat that he must have stolen.
That look from the other Indian with the red coat? Along with his English. Okay. All right.
And they speak English. They acknowledge that last
I know.
night.
Oh, they speak English, too. Just in case you hear them speaking English, it's because they speak English. Okay.
Harvard-educated English.
Back to Riverrun, because we are going to cook with gas now. Back to Riverrun. Bree and Lord John have a little chat. It's a very lovely little chat. And like we alluded to before, Lord John tells Bree about Willie, his son. He's great. He is very much like his father.
I loved that scene, by the way.
But he's like, and I love him more than anything, but he's not really my son.
Yeah.
Get the point, Brianna?
Yeah.
Get it? See, being married to me, you're going to learn a lot of very important things. But you're going to learn all of them in these very symbolic stories. Mm-hmm. So, you got to pay attention to that all the time.
He's like Jesus with a parable.
Oh, this is so true. Lord John, proving once again that Lord John is my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just stay over there with Stephen Bonnet, the devil, in the corner. And I'll stay in worshiping in the house of Lord John.
Okay, back to the forest. They bury the guy. I liked how they made a little cairn. Like, that was very Scottish.
I thought the same thing.
That was very Scottish. Yes.
Yes.
And Jamie's like, they're saying this and that about the guy. And Jamie's like, well, one thing is for certain, he was somebody's child. And Jamie is just, like, obsessed. He's gutted. He really is. He's just, like, he's never going to forgive himself. Ever, 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 ever.
And meanwhile, he had the best of intentions when he did it.
I know. He's just, he thinks he's a terrible person. He thinks everyone hates him. He thinks Claire hates him. So, can we talk about this tent that they put up, please? That I like
you mean
to call,
the massive George Washington tent?
I mean,
from
the Taj
the
tent.
American Revolution Museum?
The Taj tent. Now, our friends that we go camping with, who coincidentally, she is my Outlander mentor, the one that introduced me to Outlander. They have what we call the Taj tent. It has 2 rooms. They have 4 kids, so like they kind of need the room. But this tent takes like we went camping to the same place once, and you saw.
We have the big huge tent with the ante room.
But do you have a tent, or do you have like a car tent, or like a car?
We have a tent. We have a tent, and it has a big, huge.
Actually, you have a tent that I need to take now that you've decided you're never going camping again.
Yeah, but Tom and the kids sleep outside. But I come in the house. We watch Jaws on the big screen on the shed, and then I come in the house. I'm like, later. But ours is supposed to be like a 10-person tent. Meanwhile, I'm like, 4 is enough. But then there's like a little outer area too.
Now, our friends have this tent that's like 2 rooms, and you could sleep like 16 in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this Jamie and Claire tent was. And,
it was ridiculous.
I mean, let me just tell you that like their tent, like to take it, like when you take it apart and you store it, it's in a bag that's like, you probably can't even see this on this video. Wait.
Oh boy, what's happening right now? Now I'm far.
Like, yay. Like,
now I'm near.
It's super. Yeah, it's super huge. Super huge. So, like, how they carried, I mean, I guess they had it on the horse or whatever.
Tracey, I wish you were in my living room. I said every single thing you're saying. I was like, Do you see how huge this tent is?
Like the tent, I was looking at the tent. There's like ribs on the tent, like, you know, like a circus tent. It looked like a circus tent.
Okay, when you go to the American Revolution Museum in Philly, it's a neat little place, but then the very end is where they get you, because you sit in this auditorium and you watch a thing and about his Washington's tent, and then lo and behold, there shows up Washington's actual tent. It wasn't as big as the tent that Jamie and Claire were in right now.
I mean, like, oh my God, like, it was crazy.
I expected her to turn around and get him a cold beverage out of the refrigerator.
Whatever happened to sleeping in the heather? In the heather.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Now, the first thing we need to talk about, and I'm sorry, you guys, that this video is so long. I mean, we're on 2 hours now.
Okay, just keep going. Okay. Just keep going.
Okay. We have to talk about that hair of Claire's, because honestly, I didn't enjoy the scene as much as I could have, because
distracted because of her hair.
So bad. First of all, the gray was gone. You can always tell when they're going to have sex.
I said that too. I was like, I'm sorry, where's her Cruella de Vil stripe? Like,
yeah, no. That has to go away when they're going to have sex. It was. I don't even know what the hell it was. It didn't have, like, why can't they just take Bree's wig and put it on Claire?
It was like dreads.
It was like, it was kind of straight, and like you took a string trimmer and did the bottom with the string trimmer. I mean, what the hell? Like,
you know what I can't stand? I can't stand when they start to get busy and Claire goes.
Oh, yeah. Well, she puts it like this.
Porn. It's like a porn. Like she has to show you what's about to happen over here. Like, I don't know. I find it very odd.
She definitely does, like, do that. Like, that's another sign that she's going to get busy when she puts the hair on behind her ears.
It's because you need to see what's going on here, but in a porn, there's a lot more going on here. But I just feel like, well, I don't mind seeing her hair fall in front of her face. Who cares? That's real life.
I'm glad you're a porn expert.
Uh-oh. Just heard the noise outside again.
Next time you go out, you need to take the computer with you so that we can all see what the hell's out there.
You guys, it's freaking me out really bad. I'm dying to go look.
We have to wrap this up because I got to go to bed.
I want to go to bed and get away from the wildlife outside my door. I'm not letting the dog out tonight. Forget it.
They do have a very nice talk. You know, Claire apologizes. She's not mad at Jamie. She's mad at everyone. I liked the part where she's
but Jamie.
She's like,
she sounds like me talking to my family. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation.
I know, I say that too sometimes, because like people just assume, by people I mean your husband, just assume that if you're angry, if you're expressing anger, that it's at them. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I'm just pissed.
You guys, it also comes from our family because we're very expressive.
Right. We're very open with our emotions.
When we're pissed off, you're going to know it. But then 5 minutes later, we're fine. And they're like...
I really liked how she made the point that, like, things are different now because Brianna is here. She said, you know, I made you the promise that I would never... What was it like? We can have secrets but not lies. And she didn't really... I guess she sort of lied about, like, not about knowing that Stephen Bonnet...
She said that in the scene. She said, because I lied, you...
Right. Well, I didn't tell you the truth. I mean, she didn't lie.
So glad because I've been pissed at her for a week. I've been like, oh, Jamie's? Bree's all slapping on Jamie? Meanwhile, if Claire had said something and then Claire's all... Like, I'm like, how are you to be mad at Jamie?
Oh, I know. But it's a gray area in that it's not a lie, but it's just that she didn't say anything.
She withheld the truth.
Right, she withheld the truth. But I liked how she said, you know, I meant that when I said it, but now that Brianna is here, I don't know if I can make that promise anymore. And he had to understand that, and he did. You know, if Brianna says, don't tell anyone, she's not going to tell Jamie. Like,
I love these big, huge, drama-filled conversations. Can you imagine me telling Tom, now that our children have come along, I might not be always honest with you. If one of our children tells me something that you might not need to know.
Well, you would probably not tell him anyway, right? But you're not going to talk about it. But I don't think Jamie gets that. I mean, maybe that's another, like, 18th century thingy. You know, like, in the 18th century, the wife always reports to the husband everything, whatever. But I liked it. It was a very honest conversation.
Right, but I used to type this all the time when I was reading the books. I saw Job come out. Like, I see Jamie as Job, and he just does right for everybody. He's just so good. And I just thought to myself, this man missed out on 20 years with this baby and this young girl. And now you're still going to tell him, sorry, but Bree and I have our secrets and you're not in on them. Like, I felt very sad I understood where Claire was coming from, but I felt very sad for Jamie.
I got it.
It was just pretty much putting it in his face.
I got it.
Without meaning to. Without meaning to put it in his face, she was putting it in his face that he's not part of their little clique.
So then, then he's a little bit like, oh, Frank, and he's like, I can't believe I'm jealous of a dad man. He sounds like he was so perfect, and Bree, like, thought he was the world and whatever, and thought he did it wrong. And Claire's like, trust me on this one.
Claire's like, he was a hoe.
Oh, he made mistakes. Trust me on this one. I
just thought that Bree can draw Jamie pictures of the future, and that Jamie can really get a feel for what things look like. I know that came out of left field, but...
Actually, I was thinking of left field in that the whole... I don't know why I was going back to Fergus feeling sorry for himself, because that is something that comes up in the book, but I don't think happens right away.
Okay, did we cover did we get to this? Isn't this a done deal? What? When Fergus turned it down?
Yeah, we did it a long time ago, but the Fergus thing just popped in my head right now.
I'm sorry. I don't remember doing this a long time ago. I remember talking about her asking Murtaugh to ask him to be involved, to fight too. And I remember talking about, Murtaugh, like whether or not he wanted to, whatever. But I don't remember talking about Fergus actually saying, nope, like I want to be with my family. And I said to myself, wasn't that in the book that, like, didn't she kind of always know, like she wanted him to turn it down?
I don't think he was ever offered a position because Murtaugh was never there.
I just feel like there was a storyline like this where maybe it was Jamie she asked to do something or something like that. And she,
but I mean, like,
that's going to drive me crazy.
The whole thing of Fergus kind of feeling like he's useless because of the ham thing does happen in the books. I just don't think it happens till later, but it's not that important. Let's move on because we're so close to the end. So they have this scene, Jamie and Claire. It's a very nice scene. They both apologize. Jamie's like, I thought you were sort of beginning to feel like Bree did, where maybe Frank was better or whatever. And she's like, oh, you're so full of shit. Shut up. I wrote down, I wish they looked older in this scene because, like, and I think I said this earlier in the video that they looked like from the first scene. They looked really young. They looked from the first season.
I didn't even notice.
And I liked the point that Claire made, which when he was like, I said horrible things to her. She'll never forgive me. And Claire's like, she said horrible things to you too, and you forgave her, right? Or you didn't? No. She said you didn't mean the things. He was saying you know what I mean. He was like the things she said, and he's like, you didn't mean the things she said. Claire said you didn't mean the things that you said to her, right? Well, she didn't mean the things she said to you either. So there. Then they make out, and then we go to another forest miles away, and the Mohawk arrive at a camp, and they've got Roger. And the first thing I thought of was like, Oh yeah, Roger was at the Stones in the last episode. So I guess that didn't turn out very good, huh?
I forgot about that too.
So everyone gathers. They're all like, yo, come out. We have a new guy, that needs an initiation. And so somebody's given him some sort of leather coat in the intro. See, we missed that too. Like, Roger has a new coat. Like, where'd that come from? Did you notice that?
Yeah, but I don't really.
So they've got like too long. It's like, it's almost like it's almost like that last scene in Grease where they're all lined up getting their yearbooks and everyone's like, we go together. And they're like, doing that, like, what's the very end of that song?
Like remember forever, like she bop, she went away, yippity boo boo, change, that's how always be.
We'll always be together. And they're all like in a line like that, and they're all getting their yearbooks, and they're like all like walking down the little like between the two lines. We'll always.
Oh,
be
when
together.
they were walking.
So yeah. Roger's walking down like, we'll always be together. Except instead of like like Kaneki and Rizzo just walking down, Roger's getting boom, 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 and he like. At one point he's down, but he gets back up, like Rocky in the 15th round. And you see it in his eyes. He's like, F you, you're not gonna get me down. And then he turns around and some guy clocks him. Cut to black, and that's the end.
I, as soon as it ended, said to Tom, when I was reading the books, Roger, I never thought of Roger as having like this much of a backbone. When he got up, I was like, go Roger. Like, yeah. I don't think the Roger in the books was a total wimp either. He would sort of get some gumption every once in a while. But this Roger's he's got a little fire in his belly.
This Roger has a quiet, well, I think the other Roger, the book Roger too, has quiet strength, I would say. That's it. So yeah, not one of my favorite episodes, but not one of my least favorite either. All the people we love were in it.
I thought it was good. I thought it was, in some areas it was kind of slow moving, or it was kind of like, all right, whatever, a little too much ridge. I don't know, not even ridge. They weren't even on the ridge, but you know what I'm saying. A little like the Jocasta stuff is very okay. You're almost like, oh God, are we back in France?
Right. I know Bree is suffering and whatever, but
I'm sorry. She shows up and treats everyone like, quote unquote, the hired help. Like, I just feel like, are you kidding me, honey? Who do you think you are? And she walks around with this holier than thou attitude. And meanwhile, why would anyone even like her? She doesn't smile. She's rude. She's
right.
She's slapping everyone.
She's hot. That's why all the men like her. And
I do have to end on this note. My favorite thing that Tom said during the episode, I left a lot of it out. Like, I didn't even, when the guy was offering to walk with Bree in the garden, when Dana Carvey wanted to walk with Bree in the garden, Tom said, oh God, he's a pusher. I said Lizzie's an idiot. What line was it that Lizzie made?
Oh, she was like, oh, especially in your condition.
Yeah. I go, oh, Lizzie's an idiot. And Tom goes, cat's out of the bag. And then he said something about, yeah, you don't mess with Murtaugh. And he didn't say mess about Bonnet. He said the bad word. And I was like, oh, he never curses. And last but not least, you guys, at the end when Jamie and Claire were in the tent and like it's just like more drama from Claire, Tom goes, if I were Jamie, I'd go back to Craigna Dunn. Craigna Dunn. He literally said Craigna Dunn. I'd go back to Craigna Dunn, go through the rocks, go through the rocks and say the hell with these crazy people. Oh, I had so much fun. I was like, so much fun. So anyway, you got to have an episode once in a while that is a lot happened.
There was a lot of exposition in this episode. Yes,
this
agreed.
was one of those episodes where they had to fill you in on different things. So they filled you in on
Yep.
Lord John and
Yep. And I think I gotta think we'll have some more Lord John next week.
I'll have more. I'll have what she's having.
2 more left. 2 more.
I can't believe it.
It's crazy.
My God, 2 more.
It's
you guys,
crazy.
What are Tracey and I going to do with our Thursday night?
I know. And our Sunday all day.
Yeah. Tracy, you're going to have so much time.
Oh, my God. I know. And our Wednesdays, too, because we watch it on Wednesdays.
I can't even tell you how it hits me on Sundays. I'm like...
Hits? Are you kidding? Hits you?
8:30.
No, here's how it hits you. Oh, my God. Tracy's going to text me to see if I am... A, will post the video, and B, I'm going to live tweet. And I don't want to live tweet.
Don't want to. God, I would love to. Don't you think I would prefer to live tweet?
Oh, I don't know.
If I could do that right now, I totally would. I don't know what Sunday nights are going to hold. But all I know is I'm like, oh my God, it's Sunday night. It's 8:30.
I wish I could maybe I can figure out a way, depending on my work schedule, maybe I can figure out a way for us to watch the last episode. Like, I'll just come down to your house and we'll watch the last episode together and, like, Facebook Live it or something like that.
Or set the camera up.
That'd be pretty funny.
Oh boy.
Or have, like, a live Facebook Live chat or something afterwards. We'll figure it out.
Can you imagine if all right, I can't say that.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Tell us what you think in the comments on YouTube, on the website, all the usual suspects on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We got lots of Instagram comments. Thank you guys. Now that I'm being more active on Instagram, lots of people are commenting. Lots of people are following.
Why didn't I post on Instagram when I was in Scotland? Please fill me in
I
on
don't know.
that.
Post on Instagram now because you have the password and everything. So I haven't had time to post anything to anyone about anything this week because I've been so busy. And I'm like...
I've been wide open.
Oh my God, you guys, our lives are just too crazy. Okay. I think that's it.
That's all she
literally
wrote. Dear God, it's late.
26.
Oh my God. All right, you guys.
My video thing says 2 hours and 24 minutes. It won't be that long, but it might be 2 hours. But
oh my God. Okay.
All right, you guys. Have a great week. I always think I'm forgetting something, but I don't think so. Have a really good week, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.